And we are live, family. We are live. Let me check and make sure that I'm actually live. I think I am. Welcome to Clara's Revival, everyone. My name is Latasha. I am your certified self-revival and master spirit coach, specializing in uplifting, educating, helping women thrive after enduring abuse. All right. I'm live. It's official. Y'all, it's not too late. It's a little late. It's almost 10, about 10:20. 10:20 where I am, my time. And I just thought I'd have a little bit of fun tonight, freestyling, talking about my experience, for a lack of a better term, as a spiritualist. I see dead people. Yes, I see dead people. And tonight I want to talk about my experience, rejection, dealing with that, dealing with being different, just dealing with attracting the type of spirits and the type of people that I have as a spiritualist, as a light worker, as a healer. Let's see, make sure I can see my chat. Excuse me, y'all. I'm sort of multitasking here, making sure that I can see my chat. But in this, anyone who can identify with this, anyone who knows what it's like to have spiritual gifts, to just walk a little bit differently, please feel free to comment your experiences. It really helps me to be able to know that there are other people like me, which I know that it is, but it really helps to build a little bit of community and have some healthy discussions. Even if you are someone of a different religion, I welcome your input as long as we are being respectful. Hey, I'm open. Now, what I don't do and what I've learned not to do as a spiritualist is I don't debate. I don't debate anyone about what they believe. I don't debate about trying to get people to understand what it is that I believe, because I really do think that when it comes to matters of spiritual beliefs, religion, when it comes to something like that that's so close to people, you can't sway people. You know, the whole conversion thing, sometimes you just have to let people find what they're meant to find on their own. And there are some people who might need a little guidance. You know, that's okay too. But as long as I can remember, I have been able to see spirits, sense spirits, see ghosts. Even as a little girl, I think my youngest memory of just seeing other spirits and being aware that we aren't alone, maybe about 4 or 5. I remember growing up in haunted houses, like thinking to myself as a little girl, like, what? Is it me, or is it everywhere that we moved that's haunted? And I moved a lot as a child because my father was in the military, so I moved a lot. And almost everywhere we went, you can count on me seeing a spirit. Oh, and at first, especially being young, it used to scare me. It used to confuse me. I would just wonder why was I seeing this? And this is a gift that runs deep in my family. For the most part, it's something that I noticed that's real deep on my mother's side of the family between all the women. My older sister, I have some younger siblings that came later in life, but my older sister that I grew up with, it's so funny. We would always see the same things. We wake up in the morning and we'd be like, did you see that? Girl, did you see that man hand coming from your face? And my sister be like, yeah. So I was very lucky to have that, to have someone to relate to me in the household. And my mother, she was very psychic as well. All the women in my family had the gift, whether they acknowledged it or not. They expressed it differently, but all of us have the gift. All of us are connected. All of us are psychic as I don't know what. And it's been a journey. It's been a journey learning how to navigate that, learning how to communicate with other people, fit in society. That's something that it took me a while to learn, is that, okay, I most likely will never fit into society. And people like to put you in a box. That's something that I don't like to, there's no box that I fit in. I will say that I'm sort of a person who has the spirit of a rebel. And a lot of people think that that's a bad thing. And, especially when it comes to sometimes men and dating and that's what's wrong with y'all rebels. And no, it's not that I just, want to be a rebel. It's just that I'm a person who just thinks outside the box. I'm not a person who has ever really just believe what it is that people tell me for face value. If my spirit feels differently about it, I have to research it. I have to allow myself to be myself. And I always question why. I've just never been that person to take what someone says me. Okay, I believe it. I digest it. I'm going to follow it. I just really have to follow my own path. And I'm stubborn about that. I'm stubborn about that. But yeah, it's taken me some time to grow into my gifts, learning to accept my gifts, because it feels like a gift and a curse. It really does. And the more that I heal in life, the more that I work on myself, the more that I really feel like my gifts, my gift of vision, my gift of healing has really helped me to have a deeper understanding of life, be able to accept different walks of life, different people for who they are. Because when you're different, when you're rejected, I think it's easier for you to have compassion for someone else, because you know what it's like to be on the other side. You know what it's like to be misunderstood. You know what it's like to have jokes about you and, being called a witch and all this. I don't like the term witch, although I will admit I'm a bit witchy. Okay. Some people would consider the things that I do as a witch, but I don't identify as a witch. I don't work with any entities or spirits or any type of conjuring that's going to manipulate anybody's mind, anybody's heart. I don't do anything concerning anybody else. The only spirit work that I do is concerning me, myself, and I. And that's how I truly believe it should be. And I think a lot of spiritualists get a bad name, get a bad rep, when really they're people who have good hearts. So look, as a spiritualist, I learned to, excuse me, hold on. I think I might have to sneeze. Ooh, ooh. Excuse me. Ooh. My sinuses are draining a bit. Mia, what was I going to say? Little notes here. Where was I at? But yeah, as long as I could remember, I've always been attracted to what people would call the occult. I loved reading a lot of books about metaphysics, about angels, demons, the spirit world. I think I was a teenager when the psychic Sylvia Brown was really on and popping. I used to love me some Sylvia Brown, y'all. I used to love Sylvia Brown. She was infatuating to me. She was just very unique, and her voice and those long nails, it was just something about her. And I think it was the fact that I can identify. I was searching. I remember young, just searching for explanations of, why am I going through this? Why am I seeing this? I start to seek, and God started to lead me to information and people who I can identify with, who would just let me know, okay, this is normal. And so after time, I started to be able to get used to it. Once you see ghosts and different spirits and demons and smelling things and having crazy dreams and premonitions and learning that you can like actually feel and transfer energy throughout your hands. When I'm telling you the things that God has allowed me to see and experience, it sounds crazy to the average person. And so as you can imagine, I didn't have a lot of friends. And I grew to be okay with that. Like being a loner, being a person who sees things differently, it really taught me to be independent minded. And I spent so many years trying to fit in. So many years trying to find different ideas to fit in. I even tried, I tried Christianity. I didn't grow up in a religious home. I grew up in a home that acknowledged God, but it was almost like you had to find God and figure it out for yourself. Although God wasn't mentioned in detail in my household. Where sometimes I wonder back, I sit back and I think, I'm like, okay, that's sort of odd. But then, as I grow up, I sort of realize that I was sort of abandoned emotionally as a child. My physical needs were met, but as far as emotionally, as far as really pouring into my mind, my spirit, I was left alone on that aspect. So I pretty much had to figure it out on my own. But there was still like this undertone of knowing. I've always known and believed in a higher power, that there was a God. I learned very young in life not to talk, not to tell people that I see dead people, not to tell people about my little spirit buddies. I learned very quickly to be quiet about the things that I was seeing. I can remember being in elementary school, and it's just amazing when you think back in life. Like, I remember there was a activity in class that we had to do that required us to do some type of essay or something. And I can't remember what the essay was about, but I remember the guidance counselor, the teacher had alerted the guidance counselor, and she saw something in the writing that was alarming. And I just remember being in her office just feeling weird, just feeling like, why am I in her office? Why is she asking me all these questions? And, I guess she was doing her job. I was thankful for that. A lot of times teachers can see something and it alerts them to dig deeper. So I was very thankful for that. I did have a lot going on in the home at the time. Being a military child, I was always used to picking up and moving. And towards the end of my parents' marriage, things got worse, and there was a lot of arguing. There was a lot of violence in the home, like between both. Both were doing the violence. So, now that I think about it, the stuff that I was experiencing on top of having these visions, like I could really see, if I'm putting that down on paper, someone really thinking, okay, what's going on with this child? But a lot of people don't understand the uniqueness or just the mindset of a person that's built different, because in society, we just produce people that are the same. And so I remember that being one of my earliest experience in life that I can remember that made me feel insecure and weird about myself, and started to make me be a little more silent about some of the things that I was seeing. So I just sought the outside to express myself and to explore. We have the freedom to explore when it comes to our walk and our relationship with God. And a lot of people don't teach that individuality. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't have anything against anyone's religion. You believe what you believe. And I believe that people believe what it is that they do for a reason. I walk my life because of the things that I've seen in life, because of my way of life, because of how God communicates with me. But I think sometimes when it comes to religion, or when it comes to just having spiritual leaders, a lot of people don't encourage you to seek that relationship with God. It's about knowing how God communicates with you, knowing how he talks to you, knowing to recognize his voice, versus having someone trying to tell you everything about what God should be. Sometimes you just have to experience it. And so I'm very lucky for that. Let me see. I'm just checking to see if I have my chat screen on because I don't see anything. Okay. But yeah, I was taught to be an individual, very young, experienced a lot of rejection, didn't have a lot of friends, like I said, due to having to be adaptable. I would have to pick up and move, make new friends. So I learned very early in life not to get too attached to people, to sort of fend for myself. And through that, later in life, while I was still in my codependency stage, I learned to attach to men in relationships, just trying to seek everything that I missed as a child. And everything from the sexual abuse that I experienced to just seeing the spirits, demonic spirits on people, all that sort of shaped my self-esteem. And for a huge part of my life, I just felt so insecure and like I didn't fit in. And like I was about to start to say about church, like I can remember, I didn't grow up going to church a lot. My grandparents, sometimes when we would live out the country, my grandma would come with us, and she would help school us and stuff like that. And when I would be with her for the summer in North Carolina, I can remember sometimes going to church with my grandfather. My grandfather would go to church. My grandmother never really was a person to go to church. She didn't really mingle with a lot of people. And now that I'm an adult, I realize just like how much alike we are. But I can remember being in church and, just seeing as a child being about, maybe 8, 10, 12. And then, experiencing life as an adult, just trying to seek that experience and looking for what I thought that I needed to do. I can remember me and my sister being in church, looking at people, and we just look at each other, give each other these faces like, what are they doing? I recognize some of the spirit of buffoonery, foolery, trickery in the church. And I recognized it young, and I never felt at home at church. I never felt at home. Never felt at home. Me and my sister be in the church laughing and stuff, laughing at the preacher. We'd be like, what's that he drinking? We'd be laughing at, when he get the sweating and spitting. And it was just like such a adventure for me in church. But what I can also say that confused me about the church was, while I was still feeling that feeling of, okay, these people in here wilding, they in here faking, they in here looking for attention. Who is this Jesus? Why doesn't it quite make sense to me? There was still a part of church that connected with me. It helped me to understand God in a different way. So I had to apply the lesson. I had to take what resonated and just spit out the rest. I really had to learn to do that. And as I started to recognize that church wasn't for me, I started to feel like, okay, I need to seek some other religions. So, I started to talk to Jehovah's Witnesses and, I've talked to some Catholics, just educating myself because I'm a curious person. I ask a lot of questions and I like to learn. So as I was coming across different people of different faiths, different races, I really wanted to know, like, why do you believe what you believe? What is it that you believe? What's your perspective on it? And, like I said, I've been in different synagogues, different kingdom halls. And for me, coming from a place of wanting just to be educated and wanting to understand, I always experienced people who wanted to be pushy and convert me. And the conversion wasn't what I was quite looking for. I was looking for someone to be able to identify with, someone to be able to have conversation and have ask questions without you condemning me. Everyone condemned me. The Christians condemn me. You know, the Jehovah's Witnesses condemn me. I'm inviting you into my home and you telling me I need to get rid of this and get rid of that. You don't come in nobody's house telling anyone what you need to get rid of. So I got rid of them. My spirit, I just really had to listen to my spirit. I'm thankful for the experience. Don't get me wrong. I really do believe that every religion has a part of it right. And what I also learned as a person who is very spiritual, I don't feel the need to have all the answers. Man gets to a place to where they get so big-headed with their religion that they have all the answers. Nobody really knows until the day you die, you transition, and you see where that soul goes. Nobody really knows. Now, based off of my spiritual experiences, I think I have a little bit of understanding about the other side, the spirit realms. Like, you know, I don't necessarily believe in heaven and hell in the same way that everyone else does, but I definitely believe that there are some higher realms and lower realms. I've been to them. And as a spiritualist, a lot of people assume or misunderstand and think that I'm seeking out spirits. I'm wanting to conjure and summon up these spirits. These spirits come to me. They come to me. It's spontaneous. And God has left it in my hands to sort of understand, like, what is he telling me? Why does he communicate with me the way that he does? Why do I attract some of the most vicious people? And that's what I learned. People can see my light. People can see my gift. And I attracted so many, like, a lot of people who call themselves prophets. I've attracted some people who would identify as witches, who were trying to give me certain things and rituals to do. I've attracted in church service, you know, preachers or reverends to come up to me and prophesy and want to touch me. And that was a whole nother thing. That's a whole nother lesson I learned in church. I don't play with nobody's. Don't put none of your holy oil. Don't put none of your ash on me. Don't touch me. And it's because I experienced so much of weird energy exchange while trying to figure myself out, but attracting wolves. I've attracted wolves my whole life. And I do believe that I'm in a period. I do believe that I'm in a period where that's going to be changing. I really do. Because I've grown. I've done a lot of work on myself. And it's just time for me to get to another stage, another period in life. But when I'm telling you, from a young child, from a little girl, experiencing wolves, experiencing people who want to take advantage of you, experiencing people who see your light, being abused on top of just going through seeing crazy stuff, it really messes with you. And so I've attracted some of the worst in people. Get some water here, y'all. But it wasn't until recently, like it's probably, I would say, the past 5 years or so for me, to where I just really said, you know what? Religion isn't for me, and that's okay. I don't fit in. That's okay. The understanding of life, what God is to me, my relationship with God, it's okay with me. You know, and a lot of times when everyone is the majority, people just assume. Like, being a spiritualist, I've learned to just not assume things about people. People just assume. You just shouldn't walk up to people and talk to them in a manner where you just assume you know what they believe, because everyone doesn't believe the same thing. And I think that's just sort of the some of the flaws with society, and that people just don't know how to accept different things. And look, I've seen UFOs too. If I really got deep into some of the stuff that I've seen, people would think that I'm crazy. I've been seeing UFOs for years, but recently on the news, you hear things about the drones and UFOs. I live in North Carolina, and for me, some of the places that I have seen like UFOs are always sort of like more like in rural places, to where there's it's a clear sky. It's just a lot of land, and you can just really see the sky. And I remember my first time seeing a UFO. When I see a UFO, it's sort of like a big orb in the sky, a big sort of translucent, foggy looking, glowy type orb. And I remember the first time seeing, I was thinking to myself, what is that? So in my mind, as a spiritualist, I've always sort of questioned, like, okay, well, let me try to make sense of this. Let me go to the logical before I go to the spiritual. So I'm going in my mind, okay, well, it's not this, it's not that, it's not a plane, it's not, this is a UFO. And just seeing the way that it flies, and it blew my own mind. It blew my own mind. But now people are starting to talk about it. And, I think as we shift in this world, there's going to be a lot of spiritual realms that are going to be making themselves known and changing some things. So that's just been a part of life that I've always been able to see. I remember my first experience with astral projection. Like I said, I wasn't one who when things happen to me spiritually, it would be spontaneous, and it would be left for me to, okay, well, figure this out. What is God saying? What are you doing? My first experience with astral projection happened when I was about, I'll say 14 years old. I'm an avid reader. I've always been a good reader. That's been my way of escape, especially as a little girl. I used to like the Goosebumps books, and I used to like things like Tales from the Crypt, Unsolved Mysteries, anything that was sort of like to the occult, about ghosts, demons, angels, spirits, astrology, numerology, any type of metaphysics. I really was studying at this time. So at this time, I'm about 14 years old. I'm studying, I'm learning about metaphysics. It is so crazy. Like, my books always find me. I never look for my books. My books always find me. And later in life, it's like when I go read these books, there would be bits and pieces of information that'll help give me clues about understanding what's going on with me. So when I'm about 14 years old, I'm laying down, I'm trying to meditate, learning the value of meditating, clearing my mind. And for me at this time, being 14 years old, I thought meditation was something different. I don't know what I was thinking, but I was searching and trying to meditate in a way that it was popular, like to meditate. Everyone was looking like for this specific outcome. But now for me, meditation is just either prayer or me just clearing and quieting my mind. But at this time, I'm thinking meditation is supposed to look this way. I'm supposed to be having this experience and that experience. And I remember I'm listening to my little my little meditation music. And as I'm listening, I really enjoyed the song that I was listening to, and music already just takes me to a whole nother level anyway. I feel like I feel music differently, almost like I can see music. Music is visionary to me. So when I was hearing this particular style of song with flutes and all the instruments, I could feel, it felt like I was floating. And after it felt like just 3 minutes, 5 minutes of feeling like I was floating, I remember seeing my face looking at me. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, what the fuck? The first time that happened, it startled me so much that I became fearful, and it went away. When something was fearful to me, God didn't, God didn't bring it back until later, until I was able to understand it. Or if I was just that fearful that where I didn't see it, I would pray for God to remove it. I don't want to see it. And he would remove things that I wasn't ready for. But that was my first experience, like seeing myself. And every time I see like my astral body, which is like almost like a replica, a spiritual replica of the vehicle, of the body. And it was just sort of like glowing and purple. And I can remember just seeing it, just seeing my face look at me was the weirdest thing, but now I'm used to it. But the first time I was like, oh my God. So, you know, it wasn't until maybe 3 to 5 years later where I understood what astral projection is. And when it happens, okay, I'm aware. Like when I dream, I'm a person who, when I dream, I am consciously up. My body is asleep. My body is resting, but my mind is consciously up. I'm aware that I'm dreaming. I'm able to interact in my dreams when I get ready to. And learning that a lot of people aren't like that is weird. And that's also another thing that I want to say about spirituality that gets a bad rap. It's treated as this, especially now. People run to spirituality not understanding the seriousness of these spirits and entities that you might be conjuring up, calling these trickster spirits. A lot of people get caught up in spirituality, trying to control a situation when they're in that unbalanced part of themselves. If they're looking and being desperate for a relationship, if they're wanting to be manipulative and manipulate someone's energy, a lot of people run to spirituality thinking that that's the way to do it. Not understanding. And that's why it gets such a bad rap. That's why people are looked at so weirdly, because there are a lot of people who just think it's a fad, who think it's cool, who think it's just a trend, just to jump on and to be trying stuff. Like, you just can't be out here trying stuff with these spirits that you don't understand. And as a spiritualist who believes, this might sound strange, but anyone who is watching this, anyone who clicked on this is either just curious or you know what this life is like. So anyone who has like dealt with it, you just know that these spirits aren't anything to play with. You really got to know what you're doing. You really can be taken into some worlds and introduce yourself to spirits and demons and align yourself with karma that you have no idea about. Trying to get a result. Trying to manipulate free will. Not wanting to do the work, but wanting to call on these spirits to give you something that you don't even want to work for. Like, that got to stop. This spiritual world is nothing to play with. When I tell you, I have seen some of the most demonic things attached to people, demonic things in my life as I was in. I remember there was a part of my life where I was really just addicted to, I have an addictive personality. For me, dealing and coping with my pain and my trauma, a huge part of that for me was either coping through sex, drugs, alcohol, food. I just wanted to feel good. Anything that made me feel good was something that I just tended to do. And I think that same thing applies to spirituality. When you are lost, when you are looking for something, you start to search and you start to dig and you start to chase these experiences, which is what I did, especially in my younger years, learning my gifts, understanding. A huge part of me chased that spiritual side because it felt good. Like, some of it didn't. Some of the spirits that I was seeing, especially when I was, attached to negative people, when negative things happened to me, when I was caught up in addiction and not loving myself, the spirits that I would see was very ugly. But when God reached his hand to talk to me, to help me see that I have a spirit team, that I have angels, that I have ancestors that love me and are reaching out to me, like, when you experience God in that type of way, it feels so good that it's so easy for you to chase it. And when you chase something, knocking on doors, that you don't even know where the people reside, you don't know what you're opening up. You don't know what you're doing. So there will be a lot of times in my life where, during sleep, I would be astral traveling. And sometimes I would just be seeing all different types of people, spirits, just different things. I'm like, why am I seeing this? I didn't understand it. But as I matured, it's crazy. God would allow me to remote view things that I needed to see. That's how God works for me. When God wants to talk to me, when he wants to give me an answer, when he wants to unveil a truth, honey, the things that he will show me spiritually, where I can't deny it, I got to wake up. Either I got to wake up or suffer from being asleep. And that's the hard part about being a spiritualist that a lot of people don't recognize. God holds your feet to the fire because God is showing you in a different way. So if God is showing you in the physical and then in the spiritual, something that you need to do, something that you need to disconnect from, and you don't listen to it, you neglect it, like, I feel like your karma can be more quick to come when you ignore God, and you just have to do what's right. And for me, I've always felt like I've lived a life where I cannot deny what's right, even when I wanted to, even when I didn't have it in me. Like, God, why does it seem like everyone else gets an easy walk, like they get to do what they want to do, but I always got to, listen to you. I always got to be the bigger person. Like, there was times where I just wanted to be in my foolery, in my misery, in my addiction. I just wanted to be that, but God, never allowed me to be in foolishness for too long. And that could be like a lot of pressure. You can feel a lot of pressure from that. And I think a lot of spiritual people go through that. And reason why we have to go through that is because we have to know what it's like to be able to help someone else get through, to see the other side. And I think people like me are meant to help people just in a different way, on a different, deeper level. And like I said, I'm just freestyling. So I'm just really trying to think of all the directions. There's so many things that I could talk about, so many ways that I can go with it. But, a huge part of my life, I've just had to learn that I'm an outsider, that I don't quite fit in, and be okay with it. And now I'm okay with it. And that's part of, I guess, why I really wanted to come on and talk a little bit about this, so you could get to learn a little bit more about me and identify. But I think that society could be a little more open and understanding to people who believe differently and see differently, instead of assuming something about me, There's reasons why I'm attracted to crystals. I began my crystal journey very early, probably around, 14, 15, when I was really getting into reading the books about metaphysics and, the angel realm and just all types of things. And for me, like my books, my crystals found me. And I think that's the dangerous thing about spirituality. Everyone wants to, okay, well, I have to learn this stone, and this stone does this, and this stone does that, and I just have to wear it. You can wear it all day long. You can wear all the all the crystals you want. You can burn all the sage and incense that you want. If your spirit is not in order, just putting on these things is not going to fix it. Although there is healing properties to these things. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong, but it's about the spirit. And a lot of people don't want to do the work. You just think that you can put on this crystal and manifest. And for me, it's not about that. When I feel, or when I'm drawn to a crystal, I'm drawn to the energy. I feel a warm, tingling sensation when it's in my hands, and it feels healing to me. It radiates energy. I can feel it. It's not because I'm just picking it up because it's a fad and I'm trying to learn all the stones and what they do. I think that's the flaw in spirituality. Everyone's trying to learn the fads, but not really like live the steps, if that makes sense. I'm a person who burns sage. And everyone thinks I'm the devil for that. Everyone wants to offer up prayer because I'm burning. Don't pray for me. Don't pray for me. If I don't ask you to pray for me, don't pray for me. I don't believe what you believe in. And I just don't pray for me. Okay? Please. But, I do burn sage. And for me, burning sage, I can remember nights to where I could be under spiritual attack. I could be collecting the demons of the man that I'm sleeping with, on top of me, my spirit not being right. I'm not making the right decisions. And I could see the demons. A lot of demons, sometimes I would see like shadows in the corner watching me, and I would just feel like I was being watched. I would feel like fear. Sometimes I would see the faces of demonic spirits. Sometimes I would see and smell legions of demons. And for me, lighting that sage, when I lit that sage and when I said my prayer, and when that fog and that smoke hit the air, that fog, that smoke attached to the demons. And I always, when I cleanse, I always believe in opening a window, opening up a door, and I would physically see them, spiritually feel them leave. I'm not burning it just because I think it's cool. Like I'm not new to this. I'm true to this. I'm not following a fad. These things mean something to me. I resonate with these things. And a lot of people, I think, with spirituality, you don't know what you're doing. You don't know why you're doing the things that you do. You don't know why you're burning the sage. You don't know why you're wearing the crystals. You just, spirituality is a hustle. It's a hustle just like any other hustle. Just like I can say preachers are pimping in the pulpit, hoteps, whatever you want to call people, spiritualists are out here hoodwinking people, out here hustling people and playing the same lies. And getting people to feed into something that they don't understand what they're doing. That's why a lot of spiritualists who are out here healing people, doing good work, who are touched and blessed by God in a different way, get ridiculed. And, I'm done with that. I'm going to be myself. I am going to be myself. I'm not explaining to anybody why I do what I do. I'm living in love and light. And if you can't get it, you just can't get it. That's where I'm at with it. That's where I'm at with it. And if you are a spiritual person, if you are a person to where God is showing you gifts, you don't know what to do with them, you're scared. First of all, if you're scared, let God know you're scared. God doesn't want to just scare you. He wants to teach you. He wants to love you. He wants you to be available and know what's out there. You see on a different level. You feel on a different level. And a lot of spiritual people have empathy that are out of this world because we sense and feel emotion deeper. And when you have these gifts, it's easy to want to run away from it. First of all, your gift ain't going nowhere. I'm just going to let you know. Your gift isn't going anywhere. Understand it. Don't be afraid of it. Talk to God about it. Talk to God about it. Pray about it. Ask God for answers. Because I'm telling you, it really can feel like a curse, because you can live a lonely life as a spiritualist. My life has been lonely as a spiritualist. People don't understand me. I don't connect with a lot of people. Having conversations with people isn't always easy, especially if I'm talking to someone who I feel like is a little bit asleep. I just can't, I can't vibe with people who just don't think at a higher level. We don't have to believe the same things, not at all, but you at least have to be vibing on a higher level. And, your gifts are here to teach you about yourself. Your gifts are here to help other people. Once you heal yourself, you're here to help heal others. And once you understand, it's a beautiful thing. And I really do believe that God gives us each our own individual gifts. Not everyone is meant to experience the spiritual side of life like I am. And I recognize that everyone's brain's not wired to think like that. Everyone's experience is not going to be that. And so I'm okay with that. But I just want people to be okay with me, accept me for who I am, That's the thing about being a spiritualist, about being like a spiritual weirdo. A lot of people, we can accept people for who they are, but a lot of people can't accept us for who we are. We get a lot of judgment and ridicule. So please, if you resonated with this, if you want to hear more of some of my ghosts and horror stories, just let me know and comment. Let me know your experiences. I know I'm not the only one, and I'm really trying to reach a specific community, and I'm open to helping, educating, loving everyone. But I also want people who are like me to have a place to feel at home and not feel so judged and ridiculed. I'm not about judgment over here. No matter who you are, I'm not about judgment over here. As long as we are respectful, we can have a conversation, we can have some understanding. Excuse me. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, almost a little over 11. I'm a bit of a night owl. I'm a bit of a night owl. And that's another thing that just got me thinking, like connecting the dots of my life. Like there's certain reasons as to why I'm a night owl. And on top of the trauma that I've experienced during sleeping hours, different attacks that I've experienced in my life, on top of seeing things in the middle of the night, like some of the most active hours for me are in the dark. Anywhere between like 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. is when I get a huge amount of my downloads, visions, seeing spirits. I can always see spirits in like reflective type of surfaces, like mirrors, glass, just any type of surface just that reflects. Even a puddle of water on the street, I can like see certain things in that reflective surface. So that's attributed to me being a night owl. You seeing spooky shit in the middle of the night, yeah, that'll keep your ass up. So I'm a bit of a night owl. It's getting a little late, but it don't quite feel so late to me. So just be aware of the signs. Be aware of the signs that God is allowing you. God is allowing you to sense life differently. He's allowing you to see people differently. Because now, especially now that my eyes are open and I'm aware, I've been with a few narcissists. I've always experienced people wanting to take, people wanting to dim my light, people wanting to drain my energy. I've always attracted energy vampires. So it's like once you learn your gift, you learn your protection. So embrace that part of yourself that might seem weird, that might be different. God wants to talk to you. God wants you to understand yourself and what it is that you're seeing. And I'm a more well-rounded person. Like I can really see on a whole nother level. And I'm so thankful for my experiences. spiritual and physical. But I think I'm going to close there tonight, y'all. I hope I wasn't rambling too bad. I try to stay focused, but I'm also trying to just go with the flow more, not be so structured and tight, because I can be a structured type person at times, and just wanted to freestyle and flow and just talk about some of the things that I've been through with my spiritual gifts and how it's affected me, because it has affected me, but now it just gives me such a strength that I don't even care to fit in anymore. I'm just going to be who I be. All right. With that said, thank you for watching, family. My name is Latasha. The name of my platform is Clara's Revival. I am your certified self-revival and master spirit coach. If you would like to book coaching sessions, you can do so online on my website, clarasrevival.com. That's www.clarasrevival.com. If you have any questions or concerns about coaching, about your services, you just want to reach out with any questions, you can email me, mycoach@clarasrevival.com. If you would like to send me a donation or a gift, you can do so by Cash App, #, Love Clara 360. I love you, family. Please take care of yourself. Nurture your gift, understand your gift, and the power that you hold will be so evident to you. I love you. See you soon.